What is up, guys? Welcome back to Picking a Fight. I'm Latch.
And I'm Jeff.
And today we're going to be looking at the co-main event of UFC 273, Volkanovski versus the Korean Zombie. We're going to be looking at Aljamain, the FunkMaster Sterling versus Peter No Mercy Yan, a rematch of their fight over a year ago for the title. And yeah, but before we get started, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, comment down below your initial predictions. So we got Aljamain, FunkMaster Sterling. He's 20-3. He's 32 years old. He's 5'7" with a 71-inch reach. He's coming off back-to-back wins against Corey Sandhagen and his last one against Peter Yan. Peter No Mercy Yan, he's 16-2, 29 years old, stands at 5'7" with a 67-inch reach. He's coming off a decision win over Corey Sandhagen, and before that was his DQ loss to Aljamain Sterling. Yeah, what you think, Jeff?
I think this one's gonna run differently from the first fight, but I think the outcome. Oh, I was about to say the outcome is gonna be the same, but he got DQ'd. I think, in my opinion, I think he's gonna win the fight. I don't think he's gonna end it, but I think he's gonna win by decision. Just because he was struggling with Corey Sandhagen at first, but I mean, he figured it out and he ended up pulling the W. And then before that, when he fought Aljamain, I think he was pretty much like dominating him, you know, like he just outclassed him there. And it's kind of hard to see Aljamain like improve because he had a surgery and then he was out for a long time, and then now he's coming back. It's a little hard to say if he's gonna be. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind he's ready, but I'm sure Peter Yan, having fought recently as well, is gonna help him. Corey Sandhagen might have exposed like some weaknesses that he probably didn't know he had, and so he's probably corrected that, and so maybe there's less of a gap there. I think Aljamain, he has like a wrestling or ground game, right? Some type of ground game.
Wrestling background.
I don't think he's gonna be able to take Peter Yan down. I think Peter Yan's a little too fast. So I see the way it goes is Peter Yan's gonna probably dominate him on the feet. Similarly to the first one, it might not be as bad, but I think he's still gonna win it out there. What you think?
Yeah, I think for sure. Kind of similar to their first fight, there's gonna be a lot of everything. I think a lot of striking, a lot of grappling, wrestling, possibly some more jiu-jitsu than the first one. A big thing is Sterling's coming in refreshed. You know, like you said, he had a neck surgery, which is pretty big surgery. And I don't think the time is too crazy. I think he took a sufficient amount of time to recover and then more sufficient amount of time for his camp, you know, to the point where he got criticized for, you know, basically like avoiding Yan. But now it's going to happen. A big thing Sterling's been saying was that, you know, there was a lot of stuff going wrong. And, you know, he didn't feel good. And I feel like if you ever watch the fight, in the first round, he had a lot of success. He probably would have won the first round if he didn't get dropped at the end. It kind of like stole the round. But it was weird because, their striking styles are so different, you know. I think Sterling really relies on volume and pressure, and we saw that almost to the point where he was being really inefficient with, I think, everything with his movements. Word to Conor McGregor, you know. He was being really efficient, and everything was like real sloppy, and he was like rushing. And he's always fights with a lot of pressure, but it just felt different, you know, watching his past fights leading up to that fight. It felt like something, like he was rushing basically. And it actually led to a lot of bad moments. You know, a lot of people like to point out that I think he went like 1 in like 15 or something in takedowns. And then he even got taken down a few times himself. So people were saying that it's that route, which is probably his most comfortable, the wrestling, is like an impossible task. But looking back at it, he felt all those takedowns after he got hurt. And so after he got dropped. And I think everything changed from then. Like he started fighting worse. He was overextending. He was throwing the craziest stuff, being super inefficient with his energy. He basically gassed himself out, right? But he did, in that one takedown that he got early, he got it pretty clean, man, you know? And so I don't see how people are kind of just completely negating that, especially because Peter Yan's not invincible, you know? I think there's a lot of holes in his stand-up game especially, right? We haven't seen much of his ground game, but in a stand-up game, we've seen him in his fight against Aldo Sandhagen, even in the first one against Sterling. The biggest thing, he carries a high guard, and he's really efficient at blocking a lot of shots, but he's really prone to the same shots. You know, his leg has gotten eaten up in almost all those fights. Aldo did the best, I think, at exposing that. You could tell he was limping to his corner every you know, a little bit after every round. And then to the body, obviously Aldo was also looking for that. Sandhagen started strong with that. So did Sterling. His body's wide open since his guard is so high. And then everything up the middle, like with the knees. You know, Aldo landed some nasty knees to his body. And I think if he was any taller, he probably would have hit him in the head too. But Sandhagen landed some pretty good flying knees, you know. Even Sterling landed his own good one in their first fight. So, and, you know, that's a consistent flaw in his game, right? And it's because his style is so predicated on his defense up top. And I think Sterling, if he kind of focused more on opening. Finding those openings and doing that, and then mixing it up with his wrestling. I can see him having success early, but I think it's the same thing. The longer the fight goes on, the more it favors Jan. I think he's really good at making adjustments. You know, he makes reads based on a lot of stuff you do. So I think as for Sterling, his best bet is early. You know, to take him down early, keep him down, control him. You know, and control his tempo. You know, so he doesn't gas out so much. For Jan, he has shown decent takedown defense. I don't think it's as almighty as people make it seem to be. You know, he's been taken down before, especially by wrestlers. But he is strong, and I feel like I haven't seen much of his jiu-jitsu defensively. So that's like a big unknown, you know, because what if he can't stop the takedown, or he gets taken down too quickly, and then before he realizes, you know, the choke is in or something like that. But I like Jan's chances in the long run. I think as the fight progresses, Sterling's going to run out of things if he can't take him out early. Kind of like how he did similarly in the first fight. Out of all the fights, I think this is the one where I can see the upset being the most probable. And I think Sterling is going to have success early. And I'm going to go ahead and say, put the flyer out there. I think he gets Jan out by decision. You know, and I think everybody goes crazy. You know? I think that's his best chance. And I'll go ahead and say I think he'll get it. I think he's refreshed. I think he's going to fight a lot more calmer. You know, I think he's going to do a way better job. Especially with the crowd, maybe he'll do better that way. Hopefully he doesn't gas himself out the same, or it'll be probably the same outcome. Do you think Peter Yan's going to win, or do you think Sterling?
I think Peter Yan's going to win best a decision. I think he's going to. I don't think he's necessarily going to play the long game, but I think that's just how it's going to end up going. So, not to discredit Aljamain, I think he does have a good chance, but I'm just basing off of.
There's a reason Jan is a huge favorite right now, and it's because he's probably, you know, most likely he has all the tools to win, and we've seen him almost, you know, get to the finish line, you know. And so people think he's just going to run that same race. But I feel like it's up to Sterling to make all the adjustments, I feel like. And that's his biggest advantage, I think. And I'm going to go ahead and say he gets it done. You know, that's my risky pick of the night.
Right.
And my upset pick of the night. All right, well, those are our thoughts, our predictions. Jeff thinks Peter Yan gets it done. He thinks it's no mercy for Aljamain Sterling. Jan by decision. I actually think Aljamain Sterling gets it done by submission very early. It has to be first or second round. When he's probably gonna have more success with his wrestling. All right, what do you think? Leave us a comment down below. Do you think Peter Yan gets it done, or do you think Aljamain Sterling comes in with a big upset? Let us know down below, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you haven't. Go check out our other videos. We're doing the Hamzat Gilbert Burns fight, and also the main event, Alexander Volkanovski versus the Korean Zombie. So don't forget to check those out if you haven't. And yeah, it's gonna be a great night of fights. UFC 273. Don't forget to tune in. We'll see you then.